Welcome to First Time Watching. Is Beast of War a metaphorically deep movie, or just a shark film set during World War II? That, along with who survived the movie, especially if the shark kicked the bucket or not, I'll answer in a bit, right after a quick recap. Australia, 1942. After their commander, who luckily still has his jerking arm, gives a motivational speech about getting yourself killed in the oncoming war, he orders his soldiers to go on a little run through the woods while the rain pours down. It's a slippery situation. One of the guys falls on his face and gets pulled into a muddy sinkhole. Luckily for him, one of the others comes back to save him. The mud diver's name is Will, and the savior is Leo. They both make it back just in time to pass the exam. Now, this one shit for brains Try Hard gets jealous because the commander cuts those two some slack, even though they finished dead last. But the commander explains that Leo went back to save his brother in arms, and on the battlefield, all you have are your boys. So really, Leo's the only one who truly passed. Over the following months, this ragtag bunch of ruffians gets whipped into a dependable bunch of, well, slightly less ruffians. At night, Leo is haunted by nightmares of his past. He's teaching his little brother Archie about diving, mainly the dangers, because there are ancient things down there that hunt. The next day, during training, that shit for brains, let's call him Dez, acts like a fool. So Leo kicks him in the nuts and they have a little squabble over it after a pretty impressive display of lung capacity during their fight, which Leo wins. He also wins himself a trip to the infirmary to spend time with the beautiful woman working there, Hazel. But the guy who got his ass whooped, Dez, isn't over it. He's got a lot of racial issues with our main man, Leo. That night, while Dez is asleep, Leo steals his whiskey bottle and takes Will over to meet Hazel for a drink. Luckily, she's brought a cute friend, because that's the night Hazel decides she's more into scrawny white boys. But luckily for Leo, there's Susie, and she tells him to be careful out there. After the training is done, they are somewhere on the Timor Sea. It's the middle of the night when the air raid sirens go off. The boat gets hit and starts filling with water fast. Leo, who apparently has the lungs of Poseidon himself, saves Will by pulling him out through a hole in the hull. They surface in the middle of a war zone. Leo drags Will's unconscious body onto a floating piece of wood. The war still rages around them, and most of their comrades are dead. Leo resuscitates Will, and they watch their ship sink. After the show is done, Leo instructs Will to tie floating debris together to form a raft while he pushes more pieces their way. But the enemy isn't the only danger around them. One of the soldiers gets yanked into the water by something. Leo finds floating barrels and jerry cans, which Will ties to the raft. Will even fishes out one of their squad mates, Tomo, though the guy clearly has a brain injury, which turned him into a bit of a doofus. Then they hear a shrieking sound in the distance, closing in fast. Leo imitates it, and it turns out it's Dez, using Bobby's broken air raid siren to find them. Dez and the others float over on a second raft full of injured soldiers. Now they've got a raft full of dying men stuck in the middle of the ocean. The ones who aren't abso-fucking-useless check the supplies. They've got a couple of flares, but no drinkable water. Will explains they're stuck halfway between where they left and where they were headed in the middle of a fog bank that makes it nearly impossible for help to find them. And without wind, sea fog can last for days. Behind them, something rams into some debris. It's clear that they are not alone. Their only saving grace might be the motorboat drifting nearby. But then, a shark pops up and pulls Bobby right off the raft. Bobby doesn't struggle long before the shark finishes him off. If that ain't just fucking dandy, they're stuck in the middle of the ocean, surrounded by, according to Leo, a female great white shark. He can tell it's female by its size. They should stay quiet and still. Sharks are drawn to blood and movement. Sound travels fast underwater, so if they stay still long enough, it might leave them alone. Dez asks how Leo knows so much about sharks, which gives Leo a flashback to Archie being pulled underwater by one. But staying still is boring as hell. Tomo's bleeding, and blood starts dripping into the water. The shark attacks again, pulling Stan in. Leo dives in to save him, while another guy tosses a grenade into the water to try and kill the shark, but it only gets scared off by it. Leo pulls Stan back, but part of his leg's been bitten clean off. A couple of guys hold Stan down while the rest try to stop the bleeding. They'll have to wash the blood off the raft, or the shark will come back. Some time passes, but the shark isn't done yet. It's the middle of the night. Most are asleep, but Tomo, the brainless wonder, stares at a glow in the water. The beauty of nature, I guess. Behind him, Stan's dying, and if they want to save him, Leo needs to reach that motorboat. He decides to play a game. Of the floor is lava hopping between floating floating barrels and boxes. But when his feet hit the water, he alerts the shark. He barely climbs onto some floating debris as it snaps at his ankles. The shark goes in for another attack, and this time he's aiming for Leo's head, but Des shoots it just in time. Leo regains his composure, jumps to the boat and ties a rope around the motor. Then he tells the others to pull it in. The shark charges. So Leo yanks a pin from a grenade and throws it, but misses, so our prehistoric sea monster retreats. Now it's time to test if the thing still works. But it doesn't. In the shark's last attack, Bobby's creepy broken siren got lodged in its fin. So now, as the shark circles them, that awful sound echoes all around. But the scariest part is when they don't hear it. The shark's right under them, ramming the raft to test its strength. But they can't lose their cool. They have to wait for the right moment. So they go to sleep as if they aren't in mortal danger. But Des accidentally pulls the pin from a grenade and lets it roll. Stan wakes just in time and throws himself onto it. Now there's blood all over the raft again, and that's the final straw. Des and Leo start fighting, but Will's had enough. He orders them to stop. They wrap Stan's leftovers and send him off to eventually become shark food. But their troubles aren't over. Tomo, the brainless bastard, ate all their food. His stupidity might have doomed them all. Luckily, Will has an idea that can solve one of their problems. Apparently, drinking your own dick spit can help you survive thirst a little longer. Leo goes first, and he acts like it really hits the spot. He's the only one not thirsty now. After some hesitation, the others start pissing in their cups too. Leo laughs his ass off, while the others puke out of disgust, and that's when it starts raining, so they won't have to drink piss again. That night, Leo sees Archie emerge from the water, reaching for him. As he grabs his hand, Leo wakes up. On the other side of the raft, the others are trying to save Tomo, who gets dragged into the water by the shark. They're all going mad. Leo starts letting himself slip toward the water, drawn by visions of his brother. The others pull him back. Leo insists the shark is after him. Will tells him to snap out of it. They need him. An airplane approaches. They light a colored smoke grenade to signal it, but Will recognizes the engine sound. It's too high-pitched, so it's not one of theirs. The plane does a shooting flyby, killing Teddy as the others dive into the ocean for cover. Blood fills the water. The plane turns for another pass, and they hear that damn siren again. Leo grabs a gun and fires at the plane while Des jumps into the water with Teddy. The plane hits Leo in the side. Will dives in and stays perfectly still as the shark swims past him. Des leaves Teddy as shark bait. Then he and Will swim back to treat Leo's wound. It's clean, and Leo even managed to hit the pilot. The plane crashes into the sea. Leo demands to know why Des fed Teddy to the shark. The guy's clearly not trustworthy. Leo grabs Des by the throat, and they fight. Will throws Des off of Leo, and his arm lands in the water. The shark bites it clean off. Time passes again, and Des's arm clearly contained his narcissism, because Des finally grows a conscience about killing Teddy. Will spots a man approaching in a boat, the Japanese pilot, holding a sword. Will readies another grenade, as Des tells him to kill the guy, but the pilot throws his sword into the sea, surrendering. Will hesitates. Leo reaches for the grenade in an attempt to still kill the pilot, but this distracts them both long enough for the pilot to strike. The pilot jumps aboard and kicks their asses. Will fights back, but Leo and Des are nearly done for. The pilot kicks Leo into the water. The shark is circling them. While Will and the pilot fight, Leo quickly climbs back onto the raft. The broken siren wails closer. The pilot raises his weapon, and Des grabs his leg, clutching a napalm grenade. Will and Leo dive into the ocean as Des blows himself and the pilot to pieces. The two survivors climb onto the motorboat and find a bottle of alcohol. As good a time as any for a final drink. The fog clears, so they admire the sky. Leo pulls out a grenade, thinking of Archie and the day he died. All while finds a toolbox, but Leo's gone. Leo dives into the ocean to confront his fear. The shark swims up, and Leo jams the grenade in its mouth, losing his arm in the process. Then he sticks around to enjoy the show. As a final hallucination, he looks Archie in the eyes and swims back to the surface, screaming in pain. Leo's helped by Will, who ties off his arm to stop the bleeding. Will uses the toolbox to fix the motor, and the two of them ride off into the sunset on their way home. But underwater, another shark looms. From the recap, we know that Leo and his bestie will probably survive the entire ordeal, albeit with one arm less. At least now, Leo matches his commander. But that final shot of the shark swimming could mean just about anything. It's clear that Leo blew up the shark with a grenade. So why is the shark still alive? Or is it another shark? I believe it ties back to what Leo says earlier in the movie, when he tells the others he thinks the shark is coming after him. The shark feels more like a metaphor for unresolved trauma, especially because of that final shot. Most of the people in the movie didn't actually die from the shark, they died from grenades. That suggests Leo's trauma isn't healed. Even though he confronted it, the loss of his brother Archie really messed him up, and joining the army, which famously messes people up even more, might not have been the best move. But he did need that experience to face his fear head on and begin the path toward healing. So no, I don't think the shark survived. I believe it was all a metaphor. And now, for my opinion, this one's a tough movie to rate. It scored 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I get that. It's a solid B-rated, low-budget film that looks great for what it is. But then you've got big-budget, top-tier movies struggling to hit the 80% range, and honestly, this one isn't better than those. I also feel like the whole subplot about Leo being Aboriginal and Des being racist toward him didn't really need to be there. And talking about not needing to be there, the entire scene with the ladies in the medical tent was just added to reach the women in a movie quota. It did absolutely nothing for the plot, and would have been better if they left it out entirely. It would have been better to see Leo's mother and sister in the beginning, to put some women in the movie, and have them talk about Archie's death to give that subplot more meaning too. That said, the movie looked amazing, and the concept of shark attack in the middle of World War II, while they're also being attacked by Japanese fighter planes, is absolutely brilliant. It's the age-old question, what's scarier, the enemy you know, or the one you don't? Like I said before, I see the shark at the end as a metaphor, but I would have liked the ending 10 times better if the shark had just stayed dead. Most people won't pick up on the symbolism, or even want to, and they'll just think it's stupid. All in all, I really liked Beast of War for what it is. I'd give it a 65% at best, because I think the movie tried to go deeper than it needed to, and missed the mark by leaving so much unresolved. I probably wouldn't watch it again, and I'd tell my friends it's a fun ride, but you're not missing much if you skip it. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.